Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we have a special guest here on the channel today. His name is Kevin Wetzel. Kevin, could you introduce yourself and say hello?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Kevin Wetzel. Thought it'd be good to get out and talk about some of the stocks and things that some of the recent occurrences that have been going on. So I think it's kind of neat some of the things we've seen in the market over the past year, and look forward to discussing some of that with you today.
Thank you, Mr. Wetzel. Um, just for some background information, what were some of the careers you've had throughout your lifetime? Like, I know you've been a data scientist for quite a while now, but I've heard you've done quite a few other things. Could you go into depth of like what you've done before?
Sure. So I started out my career in the military. I did a lot of cabling and wiring, um, telecommunications type work. When I got out of the military, I worked for a lot of computing companies and consulting firms that did training and things like that. And then I kind of pivoted over into IT security and big data about 10 years ago. And I've been investing off and on for the past 10 years. And during that time, with the advent of big data, try to figure out how to use analytics and find programs or ways to kind of gauge how I can better my trading skills. And so when this whole thing with GME, AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry, all those things that kicked off in January, it really piqued my interest. And from a career perspective, I'm an amateur trader, retail investor, just like a lot of other folks. But my background working in security and big data, the stuff that's occurred this year really got my attention. So that's kind of my career in a nutshell. And I've been getting a lot of interest from different folks that were asking me like, hey, how are you doing that? And we can go into that in more detail in a little bit. But some of the what we refer to as apes came out with some really good products and data science and ideas, and I've been using some of those to kind of gain an advantage. And I think retail investors as a whole are kind of behind the eight ball because we don't have access to a lot of the data that others are using to make informed decisions. So that's one of the reasons that I agreed to talk to people about this. I've had a lot of different folks asking me, hey, what programs are out there, or what can we do to better our chances of being profitable in our trades. So I thought it'd be a good idea to start talking to people.
Yeah. Thank you for your service, by the way. You said you were in the military. Thank you for your service. Um, what I also wanted to go over was you mentioned something about your about certain data software that you use. Could you go into a little? Could you delve into what like software you use and how you use it whenever you're making your trades?
Sure. There's two different products that I've been using. One is called TensorFlow, which is a pretty popular um, software product for predictive analytics. And some of the traders that were involved with the GameStop and AMC trades back in January um, collected their resources together and they actually built a replacement for the Bloomberg terminal. I'm not sure if you've heard of the GameStonk terminal, but I can show it a little bit later. And that's what I'm using primarily to build models. So it's open source, so I've kind of changed it a little bit to get it to do what I need it to do. But that's primarily the two products that I've been using. And then now I saw that they had added TensorFlow into the GameStonk terminal. So now I can just use that terminal and add my own models, predictive analytics models into that terminal. So I can show you that in a little while.
All right, all right. So sounds exciting. So why not just go ahead and dive in? Do you want to just pull up your charts for AMC this week and also GME as well? and we could talk about like some of your predictions and what you're predicting for this week.
Sure, we can take a look at. Let's see if this will show up. So this is. It may be a little hard to see. Let me see if I can get this to show up a little bit better. So this is the GameStonk terminal, as it's called. It's open source. So if you go to GitHub and search for GameStonk, you can find the terminal. And so what I like about this is that it basically has all of the predictive models kind of preloaded. The stuff that I was doing manually, I can now do inside the terminal. So let's take a look at AMC. We'll go ahead and load AMC, and then we can just basically everything that someone could do in a Bloomberg terminal, you can almost do the same sort of things in here. Like if you, for instance, here on my screen, I just said, give me a basic quote. So you can see like right now, the last price is $40.79. I'll go over some of the different features, but let's take a look at where the analytics show this will go. So if you go into the predictive modeling, and I'm running this on a PC today, so we may get an error here and there, but it's not going to affect the outcome at all. Let's do this. So these are the models that are kind of available in the GameStonk terminal, and I only use a few of those. I found that. So let me back up a little bit. What I started doing when I started seeing a lot of volatility and I started seeing different things happening, I took these models and I would run them every single day, every single week, and then kind of keep track of which models were accurate or most accurate. So in this particular, in that particular result set, I found that the last three right here, recurrent neural network, long short-term memory, and then the ID convolutional neural network, those three, the last three seem to be the most accurate. So those are the ones that I've focused on. So what you can do with this, basically you need to tell it what data you want to use to basically run a prediction. So in this case, we'll run this one and we'll use the last 45 days of data, and we're going to kind of look at the next 10 days. We'll look at the next 10 days and we'll see what we get. So what it's doing is it's basically, as you can see on the screen, it's running TensorFlow. And in doing that, it's pulling in all of the data. And then what it's going to do is basically give us the prediction for the next 10 days. So as you see, everything before the line here, let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you. Everything before the line is what has occurred in the past. And then everything over here to the right of that is where it, should go. So I think we're trading, if we look back at the, we'll look back at the price right now, I believe, well, let's just do that. I don't want to kill that, but we're trading somewhere around 41, 42 in that area. And, over the next 3 or 4 days, it looks like it's going to go up closer to 50 before it starts pulling back again. And I've noted that this particular model is about 85 to 90% accurate based on what's been occurring. So, I mean, in the market, you kind of only have to be 51% accurate to win. So when we're hitting 80 and 90% accuracy on these predictions, it's kind of neat. So there's AMC. Let's run the same thing on GME for the next 10 days and see what that looks like, just to kind of see what that would look like. So we'll do GME, and then we'll go back into the model. So we'll run it again, say 10 days, and we'll let it run the models, and we'll see exactly where this ends up. This one may be a little bit slower. It just depends on, what data. Actually, it's running pretty good, but it may be a little bit slower to finish, but we'll see. I mean, both of these stocks look tremendous. And again, as I said, being 80 or 90% accurate on your predictions on the moves has been, that's really, really good. Here's the, I'll go ahead and make this bigger. This looks like it's going to, based on what we see here, this is where we are today. It looks like it's going to basically fall back down a bit and kind of trade sideways. So as you know, there's many different ways you can, make money in the stock market with options or with shorting a stock or going long. So if you know something's going to trade sideways, you can basically do different types of spreads and things like that to still make money. So that's what I've found with the data science and using these types of programs, that you can, gain a little bit, just enough of an advantage to make it work out for you long term. So, did you have any questions about those two? I've been, posting these. People have been asking, hey, how are you doing that? Where do these come from? And I've been telling people you can download the software and do it yourself. It's not, that hard to do, but it's good to share this knowledge with people. And really, the terminal is really nice because, like, you can do things like maybe you want to look and see what stocks have, a lot of short interest. So, I mean, you have the ability to do different types of screening inside of this program to get a list of stocks that have high short interest. If you're battling the hedge funds, which has been a narrative over the past couple of months.
So something I wanted to ask you regarding the RNN models that you were just showing. Have you
Yes.
found them to be more accurate towards like a shorter time period or a longer time period?
So I think what's worked out best for me has been, so you have to tell it how much data to feed to the model. I've been using 45 days worth of data to kind of predict the next 10 days. And that seems to be the most accurate that I've seen yet. If you use the past 10 days to predict the next 10 days, it doesn't normalize as well. So the output that it gives you is not going to be as accurate. You could use a year's worth of data and just look to see there's many ways to use that output, but feeding it the last 45 days has worked well for me. That may not work for everyone, and you may not get the same accuracy. It just depends on what stocks you're looking at and how you play it. I primarily use the models to give me the direction that the stock's going to move. I'm not looking so much at how much it's going to move, but I've found that it's pretty accurate in direction unless something extraordinary happens, which is rare.
Okay. So what was the name of this terminal that you were using again? GameStonk?
Yes, it's called GameStonk terminal. And let me see if I can get what I'll do. I'm gonna stop sharing here for a second and let me get the web page for you. That way, if someone's looking for the term they wanted to, download it, we can throw that link up on the screen.
So is this free or was there like a subscription you had to pay for it?
It's completely free. I mean, anyone can download and use it, and I will tell you this: the team that's developing the software, I don't know any of the folks on the team. I wish I did because they're very talented, but I noticed that they're pushing out changes almost daily. They're adding new features. I'm going to go ahead and share it for you so you can see, but they're adding more features and they're doing a lot more, adding in different utility to the program. So when it first came out, it wasn't really good. It had a lot of data, but now it seems like they're starting to add features that people have been asking for. So let me see if I can share this. It's absolutely getting much better from the standpoint of being able to use it and having good utility.
The GameStonk terminal.
Yes.
From what I could tell, it's very similar to the Bloomberg terminal. Like,
It, it doesn't have a lot of the very specific data sets, but if you want to see, things like what is a short interest, or if you want to, there's a screener that I found really helpful too. You may look for, high value stocks with something like that. So what I've found is that using all of the various features has been very, very helpful. So did you have any questions about the models itself? I mean, it's been really, really useful from that, like I said, from the standpoint of being able to figure out what moves, I can make. It just seems like they keep adding more and more features, and it's been really, really helpful to be able to, use this to kind of figure out what my next move is going to be. So I'll go ahead and share my screen again, and here's the GitHub for the program itself.
so this is for the GameStop terminal.
Yes, so it's got the instructions here for how to install it. You can install it on Windows or Linux. That's the GameStonk terminal page on GitHub, and I found that that's probably one of the better predictive models that I found, and that's why I'm kind of using it today.
So,
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
yeah.
So, whenever you were on the GameStop terminal, you showed me two other predictive techniques that you found to be accurate. Could you show us those techniques with the AMC and GME?
Sure. Let's do one of the other ones, and we'll see if the results are any different. And again, it may be beneficial. We'll use 45 days for the input. We'll take a look at the next 10 days, and we'll see what we get and see if there's going to be some slight variations based on the model. I mean, it's trying to predict, the price and where the stock's going to go based on what's occurred in the past. So every model is going to give you a little bit different results. And that's one of the reasons I went through and started comparing. And this one looks very similar on the AMC chart to what we got with the last result set. We have one anomaly here, which you can kind of safely ignore. But you kind of see that looks very, very similar to the other one. And let's run the other model. So we'll run this one and see if it basically shows the same thing that we were seeing, and see if it looks the same for these as well. Whoop, did something wrong. What did I do wrong? Okay, let's see. It's not wanting to run this one for some reason. Again, it's free software, so it may be that I need to just update it. Let's run the GME one on the other model. That's the downside of the free software. When something doesn't work, you either have to fix it yourself or wait on somebody else to fix it. So let's load GME and see what it looks like.
How long did it take for you to like completely master like all the functions that you can enter, and like pretty much how long did it take for you to become second nature running the software?
So now I use this every day to trade. So now it's I'm starting to learn all of the different commands. I don't have to use the help menu as much. The only time I really use the help menu is when I'm doing the predictive models, because I don't know what all the different flags are that you can set. But again, this is the result for GME with this one, and it shows that it's going to be relatively flat for the most part for the next 10 days. So the question that you ask is, as far as getting around the terminal, I mean, there's a lot of utility here. I'm showing you one small piece of this. But I mean, there's the screener stuff. You have this kind of capability where you can say, well, what are people trading in Congress? who's trading what in Congress, and you can kind of see what they're trading, if they're purchasing or selling. So there's a lot of different utility inside of this. One of the ones that's kind of neat is the behavioral analytics. So I think I have GME loaded right now. So if I want to see kind of what people are searching for, or where people are searching for GME with Google, you can do that as well. So you can kind of see what terms are being searched for, or what the search activity is like for GME over time. So this is, again, very useful, because if you start seeing an inflow or a lot of search activity, you know that more people have gained interest and may jump on board the stock.
Wow, this is amazing. How
And
did you? Oh, go ahead.
I'll show you one other thing too. You can see there's this bull bear thing. You can see how many people are bullish versus bearish for GME. So basically 90% of people are bullish for it, according to this, and it's pulling that from StockTwits. It'll also pull from Reddit, the Wall Street Bets forum, and kind of the places that this all started. It's kind of neat. You can see which regions people are searching for GME inside of Google. So you can kind of see what countries are piling on, or that have interest. So it's kind of, this is just more data, and that's what I like about this program. A lot of the stuff that I would do manually, I can now do, even like fundamental analysis, or any of whatever I really want to do. I can say, give me an overview of the company, and it comes back with all of the raw data, so I can see the specifics on GME, and what is their profit to earnings ratio, or their dividend yield. Of course, they don't have any yet, but that's going to change at some point. Revenue per share. You can kind of get at all of the data from one place, instead of jumping on to different websites and things. This terminal kind of brings it all into one place, so you can kind of see what are the price targets versus the analysts are saying it should be down here, and we know that the stock is much higher than that. So at least having access to this data, you can make an informed decision when you're trading. There's a lot of utility here. I'm probably not even scratching the surface with what this can do, and the fact that it's free is amazing, that they put this together in the time that they did.
Yeah, just from one look at it, I can tell like this is a very advanced level of software, and you were able to run like the RNN model, for example. You were saying like how it was helping you find the general direction of where the stock is going to head next. That was astonishing. I think that is everything. Thank you for coming on to the show today. I know this wasn't something you had to do. And thank you for telling us about the GameStonk terminal. I'm personally gonna download this onto my computer and run it. I will link this in the description as well. Of course, you can DM it to me if you want, and then I'll put it in the description below for the GameStonk terminal. Also your LinkedIn as well. Kevin Wetzel, he has a LinkedIn. If you guys want, you will be posting more RNN models on GME and AMC, as well as other stocks as well. He does a lot of that on his LinkedIn. So yeah, be sure to check that out in the description below. Kevin, do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you for having me on, and it was good talking with everyone.
Thank you. All
All right, have a
right,
good evening.
until next time. Peace.
Yep.